So in the past few sessions, we were discussing about how to do estimation using Estimax. We did see how to do the drafting. Then we did see how to set the parameters and do the scanning for estimation. And today is the last class regarding estimation. And it will be connected to like you will be learning how to set rate analysis and how to correct the equations within the template. Okay, as you can understand, just by knowing a software, we won't be able to properly work with it. You will need to know what is actually going within the software in order to get the proper results. Otherwise, whatever input we are giving, we might not get the actual required output. So for this, two other parameters which we haven't discussed till yet is the rate analysis part and the equation part. So these two integral parts have to be covered so as to make sure that you are doing justice to this software. Now I'll be sharing my screen. Please let me know when my screen is shared. And first part we'll be dealing with the rate analysis part, and the second portion of today's session will be focused on the equation creation part. Okay. Is my screen visible to you? Please confirm so that we can continue. Please confirm if my screen is visible to you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, we have already seen that there is a portion for setting the rate analysis within the Masters tab. And before this, we have already discussed regarding the rate analysis part in our earlier sessions. So I'll just brush up what we have to do. In the rate analysis part, actually, you don't have to work it out on your own. You can even refer to the existing documents like the Delhi analysis of rates or the PWD rate analysis and all. And from that, you can arrive at the cost of each work to be executed in the site. Now, for execution of work, you need to know the cost of materials, the quantity of material, and how it has to be proportioned in order to get the total cost for executing 1 unit of work. 1 unit means it can be 1 m³, 1 square feet, or 1 meter. Uh, any units. Okay. Based on that unit, the quantity will also be proportionately varying. And the reference, you can use the Delhi analysis of rates. There are wide varieties of rate analysis given in this particular reference document. You can go through the same, and if not the exact rate analysis, you can actually refer and try to correlate with the condition required for your project. Okay. Now, once you have decided about the rate analysis part and all these values, you will have to input it into the template. Now, as I mentioned earlier, each template deals with a different unit and it will have a different rate analysis also. So, in order to check the template, if it's matching your requirement for rate analysis, you'll have to go to this particular portion in the Masters tab, which is termed as rate. Here, you have option for setting rate types. Rate type is nothing other than categorizing which category the rate belongs to, whether it is material, labor, miscellaneous, or all these shown in the screen. Okay. You can even, excuse me. You can even create a new type category, or you can even edit or delete the current ones as per your requirement. Now, this rate category, you can refer to the DAR document for getting the rate category. So if you refer here, you can see materials, labor, and you have some other items also. Then coming to the rate side. Now, in this particular window, you will be creating the rate. You'll create an item and the rate. So that item will be a material. It can be any type of material or any type of resource which is being consumed. in order to complete the work. It can be a material, machinery, anything. Any resource which is consumed can come under this rate master. Here, if you can refer taking cement, you can see there will be an item ID which is automatically created. Then you can enter the description on your own and rate type can be filled in. Now you can select from the list which type of rate category it is going to be included. Unit of the material. This unit is the same unit in which you are going to consume in the site. If you are going to use tons, you'll have to measure the quantity in terms of tons in the site. If you're using kg, you have to get the quantity in terms of kg in the site. So use the same unit you want to in the site. And why tons over here? Because we are keeping this particular template similar to that of the Delhi analysis of rates. So the unit used in a DAR is tons for cement. That is why the same unit has been mentioned here. You can prefer or change the units as per your requirement. Then you can see the rate for that material in terms of quantity. So 1 ton of cement is approximately costing 6,800 rupees. Now this rate would vary with the market rates, and you will have to update it whenever you are doing the project. Then about the conveyance charge. Sometimes when you purchase bulk quantities, you'll get a reduction for conveyance. Sometimes you'll have to pay extra for the conveyance charge. If you are intending to purchase from a long distance, you'll have to meet the conveyance charges. And for that, you can select whether conveyance charge is to be added, yes or no. Escalation is the expected increase in rate, market rate. Okay. It is related to the escalation of market rates. Now we have a set of a long list of resources in the rate master. You can add new resources to this by using the new option. You can save, edit, duplicate, or change whatever values you want in here. And you can even upload these values to a cloud-based system and save it for later use, so that for the next project you need not go and edit and create it again. And you can even download the data down to the bottom of the window. We have two options, upload and download. You can even download the rates from web in order to update it in your current project. So imagine I have two projects in Ernakulam, and one project has has been just completed. So I can take the rates from that project and use in the new project which I am going to plan and start in same region itself. If region is changing, there is chance that the conveyance charge and related data rates can be varying. For an instance, if you are planning for a project close to the crusher or a quarry, you can easily access to the aggregates. Whereas if you are in a remote area wherein you would have to transport the aggregates by ship or by railway, then the conveyance charge is likely to increase. So in such cases, the conveyance charge will be significantly high and based on the distance from site to the location or origin of the resource. Okay, now that is about the rate master side. And for regarding rates, if you don't have an access to a market rate, you can always refer to the Delhi schedule of rates. It is being released for every year. Now this one is 2021. You can get the 2023 rates from website of CPWD. Okay. If you don't have market rates, you can use from Delhi schedule of rates, which is the current imposed public reference. Okay. Then we have the rate analysis part. Here too, the rate analysis is also categorized as earthwork, concrete and allied works, and all these are different types of work. You can add, edit, delete, whatever you require can be done here. Then comes the conveyance charge. If I have mentioned conveyance as yes, then it will be added to this particular window. All other quantities are exempted. Wherever there is a conveyance yes mentioned, that will be added to this particular window, and you can enter the minimum distance rate and the total rate will be calculated. The means of transportation can be by head, by boat, and by lorry. Now, by head, this particular condition comes in where your plot is located in an area where the access road is only wide enough to help a person walk through it. If the access road is not wide enough so that a vehicle can transport the material direct to the site, then we'll have to employ a person to carry the material on head or in a trolley to the site. So that conveyance charge will be equivalent to the wages given to that particular person hired for transporting the material. Then for any areas, like if you're planning to do a resort project which is located in a isolated island, then you will have to transport the materials to that particular location by boat. Then we have the other local on-road transportation methods like by lorry, by train and all, which can be categorized by the method as by lorry. Okay. Then we have the rate analysis part. So first we have the rate, then we have the conveyance, and finally the rate analysis part. I'll just take an example of a concrete rate analysis for plinth beams. Okay, for beams. So here there is a short description which will be displayed in your report. The lengthy description is only displayed when if you are taking that option on. Otherwise, it can be off. What is the purpose is that if any change in the material grade or percent of cement used or any other if the method of mixing is different, if the additive is different, all these cases account for a different rate analysis. So in order to give what is the condition in which this rate analysis is applicable, you will have to fill in a detailed description. You can take a reference from Delhi analysis of rates or use from older projects. This is a general description you are supposed to give in order to make sure that the cost is not covering any other items. Like in this particular description, it is mentioned that centering, shuttering, and finishing is not included. If it is included, the rate will exceed this amount. Okay. Now here we have option for conversion factor. Conversion factor is nothing other than you're putting a value to convert the drawing unit, the data collected from drawing to the output unit you require. For instance, we have seen that we are inputting the value in centimeters, but our output is in meters. We can input the value in centimeters and get an output in feet. Okay, all these are possible if you're changing the conversion factors. That is handled in this particular area. Then we have the miscellaneous options where general description is written. Then we have the right side. Now, the total cost over here is calculated based on the quantity and description entered over here. You can add a new item by just coming down, click on a plain tab, just click space bar and a search bar, search window will open. You can select or search for the material. You can type it. You can see at the bottom we have a search bar. You can type the material name and it will appear here. So if I'm using for a mason, I can select from this particular list. And this list was created while creating the rates. You can select from the same, enter the quantity as per rate analysis. You are not imagining quantities. You have to give the exact quantity as per your proper rate analysis data. You can take references and fill in the value and get the corresponding cost and conveyance charge. Now, this is a method in which you create a rate analysis, and as per the change you make here, total cost will change. If I'm deleting this particular row, you can see the total cost will change over here automatically. Now, the conveyance charge will be calculated based on the conveyance charge table we have already prepared. Then the unit you will have to mention over here. If you're changing it to cubic meter, you will have to change the conversion factor also. If you're keeping it as cubic feet, you'll have to change the conversion factor accordingly. Now, water and electricity charge is considered in terms of percentage. You can refer the percentage from DAR and fill in here. And overhead charge and contractor profit in percentage can be filled. Why is it given for each rate analysis separately? This is because for different item. We need not give the same percent. You might require a lower percentage for some work. You will require a higher percentage for some works. It is likely to be varied. So based on your requirement, you can change it for each item or each work. That is why we are having an option here to change. Then you can save it and close it. You can even duplicate from an existing one. So imagine I'm going to do a mix analysis for a mix of M30. I can duplicate from this one and change the quantities accordingly, and I can get the total amount easily. If I'm starting from scratch, it will look like this. You will have to give a description, short description, and select each item, which is time consuming. So you can either go for duplicating just by selecting, write a description over here. No, you have to select a analysis, change the description. I'm going to change this as 30. M30, then click duplicate. A duplicate will be prepared. You will have to change the quantity over here as per the mix proportion and then save it. Then you can use it. I'll be deleting this just to demonstrate. If an existing rate analysis if you're trying to delete an existing rate analysis, it won't work because it's already linked to a work subgroup. You'll have to delink it from the work subgroup and then delete it. Now, where do we actually link a work with a rate analysis? That is within the work subgroup. Over here, you can see that if I'm selecting slabs, here the rate analysis is added. If I'm removing it from here, only then I'll be able to delete it. If I'm attaching or changing the category over here or even the rate analysis type, then automatically the rate will change. You can give it to three different rates. You can either go for a rate analysis or you can enter the rate directly from a quotation given by a contractor. And what you have to do is that you have to change the rate from a rate to rate 1. Three options. Rate is the default rate from the rate analysis side. Rate 1 and rate 2 from contractors. Okay. So as you change, the value will also change over here. You can save it, refresh it. You can add new works, all can be done. So this is the rate. This is how you manage rate analysis in Estimax. And if I say once you have completed a template, you don't have to do this entire procedure repeatedly. You can just create a template of that, change whatever is necessary for the next project and use it. So it is more convenient in that method. Now, how to create or save a project as a template? In the file option, you have a save as option. Use it, change the type to Estimax template file. So my current project can be saved as a template file wherein I can mention what is the difference from the initial file. So suppose I'm changing units. Instead of centimeter input, if I'm using a meter input, I can just write it project in unit as meter. Instead of centimeter, it will be meters from in this particular template. Or I can add the rate analysis M20 mix is used. I can create n number of templates as per my requirement for each project. So you'll have a set of basic templates. You can work with it, play with it, and create your own templates as per your requirement and as per your need for each project. So it is flexible more than restrictive. Now coming to the second part of today's session, that is the definition side. Now I'll give you a 2 minutes break. Just relax. And just recollect what we have learned till now. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. After that, we'll continue. So basically, what we discussed in the first part of the session was how to create rates, how to add or edit them in this particular Estimax file. Then how to add the convenience charge. Then and finally, we came to discuss about how to create a rate analysis, how to manage them, how to connect the units of drawing to the rate analysis. All this can be done. Like my drawing was in a unit. You can just see my drawing unit. My drawing unit was in centimeter. And my Estimax output is in cubic feet. This is simply because my rate analysis has a conversion factor from centimeter to uh, cubic feet. And that value has been entered over here. Okay, and whatever input is in millimeter will be converted to cubic feet if I am using a conversion factor over here. Since my input is in centimeters, I need not change that particular one. I can keep it any random value. Now to the second part of the session, that is the definition creation. Now, as you can see, uh, as I have already discussed in my first session, estimation is not purely finding some quantity. It is linking a quantity with the uh, corresponding rate. And here the only thing common is the unit. The quantity and the rate must be in the same unit to get the correct output or correct estimation. And we have seen the quantity, how quantity is being taken. We are scanning a AutoCAD file to get the quantity partly, and some quantities have been inputted through the default side and some through the CAD utilities. We do a scan, we do entry in default page, and we do a entry in the CAD utility page. So three entries are done. And what is happening behind the screen wherein the calculation is done? Now, to understand that, you'll have to understand how a program or a software works. Here, this particular software needs some input. From the input, it will be calculating and giving the output quantities. So this calculation is based on a set of equations which has been created by engineers like us. And these equations are purely similar to the equation which we use while doing a manual estimation. So the equations of a manual estimation has been input in this particular software so that whenever we do a scan of data or input is made into this particular software, it will use the equation, calculate the quantity and give back an output. And that output is seen in this particular screen. You have the output quantity as for voting PCC, you have output quantity for pedestal. If you're giving the corresponding input, you're getting an output. And this is happening because in the background, there is a calculation happening. So it is more like a calculator, which is taking an input value, calculating, and then giving an output. And we have templates based on which we are taking the rates over here. And the common factor over here is unit. This is how the entire estimation or Estimax is working. Now, how to adjust or check if the equations are correct or not? You will have to go to select a work group, then right click. You can see the rate analysis option as well as the definition option. In the definition option, you can see that there is an equation written. Pedestal area into pedestal height gives a quantity of pedestal. Now you can come back and see pedestal quantity is given in cubic feet, that is in volume. So you are calculating the volume required for concreting a pedestal. Not just a pedestal, all the pedestal in that particular project. Now, just we will go for plinth beam, which is a common case. Here definitions, you can see volume of beams, no explanation written. How was it calculated further? You can go check over here. We have two windows in this particular, two separate portions in this particular window, one for the work subgroups and we have a property name window. Now here in the work subgroup portion, you can see if you scroll through it, I'll just maximize this portion. If you scroll through it, you can see so many equations written. You have an equation in the same order in which we have created the work subgroups. So there is slab, there is equation for slab, drop slab, slope slab, all these written. But there is no explanation for how we got the perimeter of sunshade. The perimeter has been taken from some input values. How was it calculated? We need to get that input quantity. This is the equation side, and left side is the equation side, and the right side we have the input values. Now, if you look into the right side, you can see beam details, slab details, window details. If you just look into the beam, you can see that C beam depth, a depth, something regarding depth is written. If you move to the right side, you can see there is no value over there. If you are looking for this one, we'll just adjust this table and see. Okay, here for plastering of beam, an equation is written and a value is shown here. This value has been arrived from the input properties you have given. So this is the equation for plastering for beam, and this particular value or quantity has been used in a particular equation. That equation will be in this side. Our plastering portion, if you can see that there will be plastering for beam. Okay, I'll put outside plastering. Now, when we right click over here and go to property builder. Now, plastering for beam, right click property builder. You can see that the input is this particular table. Now, I'll just make it a little more easier. We are entering the values through entries. Go to the scan arc part. Go to the scan details. Okay, this is the foundation side. We'll go to the ground floor. Scan arc. Come to the scan tab. Right click. We have a property builder over here. Now, whatever data is scanned through the arc scan will be available in the property builder. This is the input unit. This is the unit where the data is stored. So property builder is where each value of each property or each entry is stored in tabular format. Now, since I have right clicked and taken it from the door or door category, the window for the door, whatever data related to door is stored has been opened. If I right clicking at the window side and using property builder, the window related joinery window related data has been shown. If I'm going for the ventilator side, similar data related to the ventilator in that particular story has been shown. Similarly, if I'm going for the wall portion, the data collected from that side has been shown. Now, in this particular property builder, you will create a relation. Like we have the width, depth, and length. We might require the area. We might require the volume. We can calculate it from here. I'll just go for an example. Area of outside windows. Now, the reference table is this particular one. Now, the property name is area of outside window. The formula is width into height into number. So, width into height gives the area and number of such windows has to be counted. So, into number. And you can see that there is a filter given here. As per the property name, it is the area of only outside windows. So, the filter used is to filter out only outside windows. Whichever windows inside the building need not be added in this particular calculation. So we are giving that filter over here. Similar for slab, you can see area of slab. The formula is directly area. We are just taking the input of area and there is a filter given here, type 0. Type 0 refers to generally slab. We have different types of slab. You can just right click over here and see. Type 2 is for outer brick. Type 5. Okay. Then we have deduction area, that is type 3. Then we have the sunshades, which is type 2. We have different types coming under the slab category. You will have to just double click over here to add that particular type. Now, if we have to create a combination from slab and sunshade, then first thing I have to do is that double click over here. It will be added to the filter or sunshade. So both slab and sunshade will be considered as in that particular filter. So if you're trying to find the combined area of slab and sunshade, you can add a new property. Combined area of slab and sunshade. Now I just require the area alone, then add the filter. Now, if I'm writing area, it will be a sum of all areas. Sum of all areas over here in this particular table. And I'm going to give a filter that I'm using only slab. Either it should be a slab or it should be a sunshade to get added in this particular formula. If it's not matching this condition, it won't be counted in this particular area. And I can save this and execute. Then that particular quantity will be added. Now we have created a quantity from the input data. Now we'll have to add it to an equation. For that, you will have to create a work subgroup and then come to the definitions part. Select that particular work subgroup. Now for here, we'll take slab. Combined area I'm using. Then I'll go to the right side wherein my input data, that is from the property builder, will be coming up. So I need slab. I'll be scrolling down to where slab is. I think it's in the initial part. Slab will be slab details, combine slab area. Double click to get it. Now this is how the volume of beam was actually taken. You had created an equation in the property builder and that equation was called in this particular definition page so as to get the value. So similarly, you can try creating equations. And if you're not confident enough to create an equation, you can refer to all the equations over here. Check the calculation manually to know whether if it's true, whether we are getting the correct quantity. Like in the case of drop slab, your perimeter of sunshade into 50 into 10 is taken. What is 50 and what is 10? That might vary for different project. 50 might not be the same for the next project. It might be 60 or 70 for the next project. So in such cases, you can come to this equation, change the value manually and execute so that the updated equation will be used for calculating the quantity. Similarly, we have kitchen dado and toilet dados and all. We'll just come to that part. Okay, now we have the wall tile dado. You can see dado in kitchen plus dado in wash plus dado in toilet is taken. So these have been already calculated in the property builder window. So we'll just go check what is the equation given there. And for that, come over here and you have the miscellaneous objects wherein these calculations have been done. If it's coming under slab, beam or column, then it will be in a separate category. If it is a miscellaneous item or a CAD utility, it will be coming under the miscellaneous item. And if you're inputting it from property builder or project defaults, then it will be coming under that particular category. Now here you can see dado in kitchen. I can just go to the property builder. Here it is said that dado in kitchen has a height of 150. Length into height. That is how you get the area. And here the filter is given that since we are taking it from the utility page or CAD utility window, there are numerous CAD utilities in this particular window. Or if you just mentioning length, you will take the sum of all length over here, irrespective of what CAD utility it is. So you have to mention which CAD utility you are intending to take. Only then the particular quantity will be taken properly. Otherwise, it will be a sum of all these values. I know this is a bit confusing because this is truly program side. What you can start with is that you can just take a select a work quantity, right click and go to the definition. Select any work quantity, right click, go to the definition, read through this one and try to calculate it manually. If volume of beam, now this particular quantity refers to beams. So volume of beam minus area of beam reduction into slab thickness. That is, we are actually reducing the slab thickness portion or the quantity of slab from the beam. This is because slab is the quantity of slab was taken as a wall. So you will have to remove that thickness of slab from the depth of beam. So that calculation was done indirectly through this equation. So if you are feeling this was confusing to deal with, what you can do is that come to definitions, read through the equation, try to apply it for a actual project manually, and if the calculation is not matching, then go to the property builder. Now you can see the first property is volume of beam. Come to the beam section, volume of beam. Select that particular uh, quantity, right click and go to the property builder. Here you can see the actual formula from which the volume of beam has been calculated. You can check if there is any filter given and see the input data. From this, you calculate manually width into depth into total length. Do it for each portion. You can just copy this one and export it to Excel, or copy this data to Excel file, calculate it in Excel, take the and come back and check if that value is equal to this particular one over here. So this is given in centimeters. The corresponding value over here is in centimeter. It will only be converted in the next part where it is linked to the rate analysis. Now that is the easiest way to learn how to make equations in Estimax. Try to work with an existing equation. Try to modify that equation. That is the best method to learn how to create an equation. Just to know that when you're creating an equation, the input is taken from each window. Like for the slab related equations, data is being taken from the property builder over here. For architecture elements like wall, window, door and all, you can take it from the corresponding table over here. For structure elements, you can take it from here. And in the property builder, you will create minute quantities like volume, area, perimeters. All these minute or parts of the equation will be created over here. These parts are later linked into the complete equation using the definitions over here. So whichever definition you are using, you can either take it directly from the property builder or create a combination of these small equations from the property builder to get the whole quantity. And why we are doing this is because sometimes we need a data from slab to be detected from the beam quantity. So these two are in two different tables. The data related to slab is in one table, data related to beam is in another table. We can't directly take the value from it. So what we do is that we'll create a project a property in property builder corresponding to the slab quantity, and we'll create one for the beam quantity, and we'll connect them in this particular equation portion. So you can see here, these are different properties or property of work we have created. We are linking them either by subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and all those necessary functions is done or calculation is done in the equation portion. And filtering of these data is also done in the property builder. Okay, I know this is a complex part, but you need to know how equations are being created, how to edit an equation in order to get the correct quantity. That is the main reason why this has been explained to you. You can try making a definition of your own, but I won't ask you to do this as a must step in your assignment. For the assignment part, you just have to do the basic estimation using the given template and the given estimation drawing image. You can do an estimation and submit. You need not try adding a rate analysis or definition on your own. For if you're interested in working out the same, if you have an interest in working with softwares, in that extent, you can try doing adding a new rate analysis. You can even try modifying an equation, or you can even create one on your own. And if you're interested, if your interest is too much and you have doubts regarding the same, you can always ask me regarding the same. I can help you create an equation. I can help you create a rate analysis based on your requirement. All you have to do is reach out to me, send a request mail. I can help you to create a definition if you are really interested in doing it. Okay, now with this session, we are winding off the Estimax training. If you require any additional session for doubt clearance or clarification, you can request for the same. We'll have a session organized as per the number of people. If the number of people is more than 3 or 4, we can have a session in our regular time. If it's 1 or 2 or 3, then we can have an exclusive session in a time convenient to you and clear out your doubts. Okay. And I think this is officially the end of exposure training. I'll just confirm the same in your group after checking all the portions taken to you. If I have missed out any portion, I'll try to add it in the next session. Otherwise, this might be the official last session for you in the exposure 2022 to 2023 training. Okay. Thank you all the best for your assignments. And the assignment submission date will be announced shortly once the uh, end of this particular training session is confirmed. I'll get the assignment submission dates. You can even negotiate the time for submission. If the reason is genuine, I will accept your request. Okay. Thank you all and all the best.
Thank you.